Okay, thank you and welcome to the MIDI Association booth at Namm. My name is Paul McCabe and I work in research and development for Roland Corporation Japan. And we're here today to see the new piano profile for MIDI 2.0. Three little jumps in time for you. 1983, you probably know, at the Namm show, was the first demonstration of MIDI between a Roland instrument and a synthesizer from Sequential Circuits. 40 years later, which was last year at the Namm show, was the first live demonstration of MIDI 2.0 with this very A88, Roland A88 Mark II, playing a software synthesizer on a Mac from a company called Synthogy, and the instrument is an Ivory 3. And so that was the first real live demonstration. Here we are this year, with the same basic configuration. That's the same A88 Mark II, Ivory 3 running on the computer, USB cable connecting them, that's it. And we're showing the piano profile. And so this is the first demonstration of that. So what I'd like to do is I'll bring Athan Bilius from the MIDI Association up, and he's going to give us a bit of a technical explanation.
Thank you, Paul. So I'm going to give you an explanation, but it's not going to be very technical. So I will explain very briefly what a profile is and what MIDI 2.0 is. And it's important for, I think, for especially end users to understand the main thing that we are trying to do with MIDI 2.0 is make it easier to use. And how are we doing that? It's pretty simple. Way back in the day, when MIDI started, there was an in cable and there was an out cable. And you could never actually know, when you sent a MIDI message, what happened on the other end. You just sent it out and wished for the best, okay? So now, with MIDI 2.0, what we've done is we have changed MIDI from a monologue to a dialogue. All modern transports are bidirectional. And if you plug the MIDI in and out cable to your device and it supports MIDI 2.0, as long as you've got that 5-pin in and out connected, you can do profiles and you can do property exchange. You can do all of the new things that we're doing with MIDI 2.0 on devices that run over regular old 5-pin MIDI. And what does a profile do? A profile sets up the entire device to be something. It might be an MPE controller. It might control a PTZ camera. It might control orchestral articulation. But in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to control the piano. So this is a hardware product from Roland. That, which will be what you're hearing is coming from Synthogy, the company Synthogy. It's Ivory. It's one of the best VSTs. And this is running standalone. So I'm going to do a short presentation here. First of all, one of the things you have to understand about the MIDI Association and is how we work with our friends in Japan, which is Amassed. And so here we are working together to do this piano profile. And we have companies like Amassed, MIDI 9, Kawai, Korg, Kurzweil, Roland, Steinway, Synthogy, and Yamaha. Here, I'd like to introduce Dave Starkey. Stand up for a second. He is the chair of the piano working group in the MIDI Association. And can we have the folks from Kawai stand up? Yes. So we actually have worked together to do this. The beauty of MIDI is that we all stop competing with each other and we work together to make things better for musicians. So how are we going to do that with the piano profile? So basically, if you play on a Casio piano and then play it back on a Roland piano, or you play on a Steinway Stereo and play it back on a Yamaha disc clavier, it sounds okay. It sounds like a piano. But actually, when we dug into it, we found that there's huge differences in the velocity curve. And there's huge differences in the way it responds to the pedal. And so the goal of this... That's okay. HDMI doesn't like me sometimes. The goal of this is that you're able to turn the piano profile on and record your data, and then you can play it back on anything that supports the piano profile, and it will more accurately represent what you played. And we all know that for musicians like Scott Tibbs, by the way, hey. For musicians like Scott, sensitivity and expressivity is what music is all about. The subtle dynamics, and that's what Ivory does, and that's what MIDI 2.0 does, because we moved from 7 bits of velocity to 16 bits of velocity, so from 127 steps to 65,000 steps of velocity, so it's really, much more sensitive. So how did we do this? The goal is really just that you can take 2 devices, you can play it on one thing, play it back on another, and it works. And it's based on an acoustic piano. So everything that we did, we didn't think about digital pianos, we thought about acoustic pianos, and we modeled everything on the actual piano itself. We're lucky enough that we have 2 members, or we have a number of members. Sorry, I said 2 and I didn't mean it. We have a lot of members who actually make acoustic pianos that have mechanisms in them that actually play themselves, the Spirio, the companies that QSC and stuff like that, the companies that Dave works with, and of course Yamaha with the disc clavier. So yeah, the scope of it is really, I'm going to skip over this really quickly because we do cover all of those things. So we cover acoustic pianos that have mechanisms, we cover digital pianos, and of course we cover MIDI controllers. This is a MIDI controller and there's software. There we go. Okay. This is really the only thing you have to remember. The core value of the piano profile, it really comes by just supporting those 2 things, which makes such a tremendous amount of difference, which is velocity and the sustain pedal curve. So I'm going to go. I think we're about at the point. You don't need to see all of the experimentation that we did, to be honest. We made max patches and we did all of these things and we looked at all of it. Basically what we realized is after we did all of this testing is we could actually make a piano profile that worked. So I think that what we should do now is we should probably listen to the piano profile in action. So can I ask you for a favor? You can turn the piano profile on and off, right? Can you do that?
I'm not that guy.
Yeah, Andrew's that guy. Off. So if you see up there, it just said piano profile is off, right? Can you play a little bit? Now, this might not be a great experience for you.
It's pretty much your typical experience when you're playing a controller, especially on piano. A piano sound, you're playing a controller and you're using a VST. You have that little bit of separation. If you feel a little isolated from what's going on, you have to immediately change the way that you play. You're constantly making that instantaneous adjustment. And so it feels a little funny at first. So I was just playing with the profile on before, just kind of getting used to it. And it was I don't know what to say. It's like when you have the hockey rink and they just clean the ice and you're the first person out on the ice, and you of course you got to do a body slam and you slide on it. That's what it feels like. It feels so wonderful. So now I'm going back to this, and I feel like I'm after I get done skiing, I'm walking in my ski boots to the lodge. That's what it feels like right now.
So now the piano profile is on.
Immediately you feel the response. You feel that you're not really digging in just to get a sound. And that's really important, especially when you play all these nuances. Because the world is a lot deeper than 127. You know, so it's like when you're playing these passages, you know, sometimes you want the strength, especially when you're, you know, you got like a little, maybe a weaker finger, like between your third and fourth finger, you know, but you want to get that feeling, and sometimes, you know, just having to work that little extra moment, knowing that you're doing a little run, knowing that it's not responding exactly the way that you want it to be, with especially with weaker fingers, but with the profile, you're playing it like a piano. It's responding amazing. So it's kind of like, I'm kind of blown away, really. And I purposely didn't want to, I haven't played this before until just now, and I kind of wanted to be surprised with you. So it really is a shock. It's quite a step up.
So I think what I should do now is I should get out of the way and just let Scott play a little bit.
Hello? Hello? Okay. Well, I haven't done this in a long time, you guys. This is like my first NAMM show in like 4 years, so it's kind of cool to see you guys. You know what? When you're playing the piano, especially when you're not getting the sound directly from the instrument. Sorry, I feel like I got to stand up. And you're hearing it from speakers. There's already an automatic detachment. You know, you have to adjust. And so the one thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to fight the controller that's actually playing those same notes at the same time, because you're like in a three-way fight, you know. And but this plays so smooth. I'm so impressed. It really, really is amazing. And I'm really happy, because Roland's dear to my heart. I'm so happy that we have this 2.0 thing going on with our controller and with our company, along with Ivory, and those guys are amazing folks at Ivory. And just really, really happy that the way this responds over the entire keyboard, the curve is beautiful. The curves are nice, and you just feel that you're becoming a little bit more attached to the music itself, the stuff that you're playing, as opposed to fighting all these little extra things, and like, oh, I'll fix it later, or I'll move the notes around, after. I feel like I'm feeding back. Am I feeding back? Or like, you're worried about, oh, I'll fix it later. I'll move some notes around. I'll change some velocities. You guys, I got to tell you, my pet peeve, I am so sick of changing velocities and MIDI velocities. I can't stand it. So like, I love the fact that there's this type of range. You guys, this is, more music, less futzing around with the notes. Let's play. Let's kind of like have this connection that we've always wanted to have, that's natural. So we're really, really getting close to this. I love the technology. I love where it's going. It's been going this way for a while, and I'm so glad to see that we have this type of cooperation with different companies. Being brotherhood, let's make this happen, you guys, because the music is really for you, and we want to have fun. We want to have this experience. So, well, look at this. It's like Phil Donahue.
If they turn the profile off, I would ask Scott, play no harder dynamic than double P, and just play just in the quietest
Why do you embarrass us like that?
I want to show you. I want them to see how the profile totally corrects that.
Okay.
Andrew,
here's what the question was. I'm going to play extremely soft with the profile on and with the profile off at the exact same level, and you'll see how you get this sort of automatic artistic compensation thing going on, okay?
This is profile off.
So now it's profile off. I'm going to play super. Let me start hard. It's always, everybody wins, you know what I mean? So. Can you hear it? I can't hear it. Okay, that's the profile off. Same dynamic. My ring finger loves you guys. Okay, I'm just gonna goof around, and I got this, man. I got this. Boom. Okay, and I'll just go slow to or soft to, back and forth, okay? You guys, it's a world of difference. It just is so. Turn it off. Okay. Turn it. Oh, turn it off. Turn it off. I'm gonna play dynamically, kind of like going up and down with it off. You know what? You just bumped up the feel of this controller. You know, it's amazing. It really is amazing. And it's just fun. It kind of gives you a good sparkle, you know. So, Scott Berry, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, man. Thank you, Scott.
So I would just like to say that that is why we do what we do. I can't tell you how many hours and hours of discussion and work went into the specification, but for us, it's all worthwhile when we get to hear somebody like Scott play. And I'm gonna ask him if he wouldn't mind playing one more song, but I think I have to do this. We're gonna make him play it with the profile off. No, wait, sorry. No, I'm kidding.
Here's the catch. The first one is free. Because if you play with the profile on, you're never gonna, I'm telling you, you're never gonna want it off. That's the catch. You know, so anyway, you guys, it's really a pleasure to see you guys and to be a part of this NAMM show and to be a part of here with our boys at Roland and with the Aminote folks and also Ivory. Love you, Joe. Go Patriots. A couple years in the making, but we'll see.
Mr. Scott Tibbs. Yes, sir. So, Tomizawa-san from Roland asked me to point out, yes, we do the velocity control, and we do the sustain pedal control, but you have amazing control that actually the profile sets up, and you can control the timbre, the lid position. One of the beautiful things about a profile is it does a profile details inquiry that you don't have to worry about. But we get all of the details of what the piano can and can't do. And so, for example, if it has sympathetic resonance, the piano profile will set up the right MIDI messages to control the sympathetic profile automatically. You don't have to go in and map it yourself. Those days are over. We are trying to make MIDI more and more transparent so that you don't have to think about it, you don't have to worry about it. The devices talk to each other and set themselves up. So did you do any mapping? Like you just turned the profile on, and you can actually turn the profile off, and then none of those things will work. And when you turn it back on, they all work again.
Staying on. Profile staying on.
There you go. Can we get a warm round of applause for Mr. Scott Tibbs? Thank you, brother. Good to see you. All right, and we will be back, and at 11:30, we are going to have the MIDI Innovation Award winners who are going to be here. They're all over at that booth, but they're all going to come over here, and we're going to show you what they've been working on. Thank you very much.